GitHub and Unity team projects, introduction and how to handle internet problems. So now that we know what is GitHub, how can you use it with Unity? I want to give an overview of how to handle a project using these two in the current times. So right now there are teams who want to work together. There are schools that want to work together to see how they can use Unity and GitHub. But the problem is, how do you set these up and how do you handle internet issues? So for specifically my students and people who are in similar situations, I'm going to give a brief overview on what you need to do. To start with, you would need the internet just to understand the basics. So for that, you can use my videos, you can use the material which is there on github.com. You can use the Hello World tutorial there, and you can also use some open source projects like Hacktoberfest or other project where you can work on to understand the basics of GitHub, GitHub desktop or GitHub command line, whichever you want. So next thing is you need to decide on a project group. To start with, I suggest a size of 2 to 3 students. Now, if this is a real project, if it's a real team, it's a big real. By real, I mean it's something that you want to publish later on. It's not a school project, something commercial. Then you can obviously have any number of members in the team. Now, you need to have a team lead. Now, for a public repo, you can have the team lead work and create their public repo for everybody to see and then share with the team members. If you want to work on private repos, that is also possible using Git. Now, the issue with private or proprietary code is, so you need to set have an additional set of steps to do this. So what you have to do is you have to create a team member account, a team account. So you need to start with an organization. That's again free for most cases, and for small project this is fine. Or so basically, you do need to do some extra effort to set up for a private repo. So you're going to create a team or an organization and then so on. So for a regular project, for by regular project I mean if there's no proprietary stuff in it, then what you can do is make it a public repo, especially for students working in the school or university. You can just use a public repo. And next, the team lead. The team lead is going to create a public repo and then do an initial commit, set up the project, commit to the master, and see this is something now that he or she wants you to clone. So now you're going to get the URL, clone the project on your machine, and start working. And afterwards, you can keep working. And I suggest you can work on individual scenes. So, for example, there's a person whose first name is person a very intuitive names, I must say. So, person A can have a scene which is person A1 and a person B, another nice name. So, person B1 can work on their scene, person B1 scene in their clone project. So this is I'm talking about in the case of a student team. So if you have a preference for an actual team project using it, then you can obviously use a different set of names. Now, so once we've created the scene, we can write down, just to test this thing out, we can create our name using just primitive 3D objects just to see if it works. And then we can save it and send a pull request to the leader. So we commit the changes to the local repository and that local branch. And now what happens is the leader will look at the changes and see, these are really nice changes. So let's merge them into the master branch. And from the grip GitHub desktop or command line, you can take the screenshot, put them in an MS Word document. In our case, we're using Microsoft Teams, so you can submit it over there so the other people can see, so I can see and look at what's happening here. So this should be easy to do setup, just to see how it works. Now I do want to discuss internet issues here. So you just need, for a basic setup and a simple project, you only need 2 to 3 net sessions. So first you can use the first session to look at the videos and the GitHub tutorials. Obviously, this is for that you need internet. Then the team lead is going to create, upload, initialize the project. And now you need to connect to the net once and clone it. Afterwards, you can just work on your project offline. When you're done, now you need the net again. So after you commit it locally to your branch and you want to send it to the master branch, for that you have to request a pull. So for that you need net. And so there's just three different incidents where you want net. The first is when you're learning the basics, then when you're cloning after the initial commit from the team lead, and then one time for every time you need to send a pull request to the leader. So this is an overview for teachers or project managers who want to work on GitHub or with Unity in general. So in the current times, or if you want to work. So I hope this has been helpful, and if you have any questions, do leave them in the comments.